Welcome back to my channel. It's been so long, I know, but we've moved, we've had a baby, it's been a whole thing, and I'm really thinking and working on how I'm going to revamp this channel. Obviously, I need a better setup because I'm in our unpainted dining area and laundry. However, we moved and this house is a lot bigger than our old house, and believe it or not, like the places for me to actually film are a lot less. So I'm trying to figure out where in my house can I talk to you where I have good natural light and not feel like I'm in a cave. So here we are. Recently, my family and I went to Aulani, which is on the island, Oahu in Hawaii. And I had quite a few questions asking me about how that was during the pandemic. So I wanted to address some things, give you my overall thoughts on Aulani. Granted, I have never been to Aulani in a non-pandemic situation, so I'm sure it is far different, but I wanted to tell you my thoughts and how our trip went. So just so you know, before you get on a flight to Hawaii right now, you have to get a negative COVID test within 72 hours. So what we did, we found one of the spots that was approved. Now, you need to remember that there are certain locations and certain tests that are not approved by Hawaii standards for you to fly. So I would hate for you to get up to the counter and be like, oh, a month ago I got a COVID test and I don't have COVID or whatever. And they're like, yeah, you can't get on the flight, which happens quite often. So we double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked that this place was okay for us to go to, which ours happened to be at the airport. So we waited the hour and a half in the line in the car, which was weird because there were only about 8 cars in front of us. So I have no idea why it took so long because once it was our turn, it was really fast. So we had 2 nurses, one on each side. One of the nurses helped with my daughter who's 7. Any child under 5 does not have to get a COVID test. So my son did not. The nurse will hand you your COVID test and you have to do it on yourself, but they are watching you. So I did, the 15 seconds in one nostril, the 15 seconds in the other, which by the way is really weird to do that to yourself. Like someone else sticking something up your nose is like, okay, I can just like grin and bear it. But when you have to like inflict it on yourself, it feels real weird. So then what they're going to do is they're going to email you and text you when your link is ready to see your results. We got them pretty quickly. I want to say within 24 hours for sure we had them, which of course, even at that point, I was still thinking we weren't going on the trip. I mean, it didn't hit me until we were actually on the flight. That's what actually happened. So when my friend and I went to run Princess in 2020, I don't know why I said 20, we went to Princess and COVID was kind of this like lingering thing over our heads, but we kind of not joked about it, but we were just like, oh, coronavirus, like that's not going to be weird. So we went and did the race. And I mean, we were in crowds with thousands and thousands of people. Fortunately, we both did not get sick. I was pregnant at the time. And when we were flying back, we did notice a guy had a mask on. We're like, that's so weird. I mean, little did we know in like 2 weeks, the whole world was going to be so different. So my friend Caitlin is a DVC member, and she was so kind to invite me and my family on a trip in December of 2020 to Fort Wilderness and stay at the DVC villas. So at Copper Creek. So this whole time we're like, that's December. That's so far away. Of course we're going to go to Disney World. Why wouldn't we go? So when like September came around, we were like, okay, maybe we're not going on our little Christmas trip. And so she was super, super sweet and kind to offer me and my family to come with them to Aulani in May, which of course at the time we were like, oh, that's May. That's so far away. Of course we're going to be fine. And then when like things were just kind of the same, it was a little nerve wracking. So even when we bought our Southwest flights, I was like, we're not going, I mean, we'll get to the day of because they were offering free cancellation. So we were like, well, it's probably not going to happen, but we'll plan for it and we'll pack for it. And if last minute it doesn't happen, I was kind of prepared to be disappointed somehow. So it didn't really hit me until we took off. So we flew Southwest, like I said. They say they are very strict about masks. I personally find they were not. We kept our masks on. Everyone else around us did, and the people we were traveling with. However, flight attendants, other people, and please don't comment on your thoughts about masks or the pandemic. I don't want to turn it into a negative place. I'm not trying to talk about that. I'm just giving you my point of view that they were not super, super strict about masks. A lot of these for periods of time. I just thought it was interesting. Maybe they're assuming because we were all flying to Hawaii that we've all been tested negative and there's really nothing to worry about. And they do filter the air and they were super, super sweet and friendly. But even when the stewardesses had their masks around here, I was like, okay, well, maybe we're just getting a little more lax than I thought. So we took the shuttle from the airport to Aulani, which is like a 40 minute trip. It wasn't too bad. And I think it was like $35 a person. They do not have a limo service right now, but they do have a big, nice air-conditioned shuttle that you can take. It was just us and another family. So we felt pretty safe. We got to the resort pretty quickly. My friend and her family, they had a rental car and they pretty much matched us on time. So if you're concerned about that, it was pretty much the same. Why didn't we get a rental car? Well, because again, I didn't really think this trip was happening. So I was sort of late to thinking about a rental car. And when we went to go get one, I don't know if you've heard on the news lately, but rental cars in Hawaii are really non-existent. And if you want to rent them, they're very, very expensive. They were only available for the whole week. And we thought, we've never been to Aulani. There's no way I'm going to be leaving this resort every single day. It just didn't feel like a good use of our money. So we wanted to rent it for just the weekend. And we figured we'd like drive around the island. Well, they only had it available for one day. And even that one day was pretty expensive. And in fact, they've been renting out U-Hauls. I heard that car dealerships have been renting out their extra cars. So my friend, she went through Costco Travel and got her rental car that way. But just for us, it just didn't make sense. Had I known where Aulani was, I would have sprung for the rental car. So that is my first tip is I think you should get a rental car. You know, if not for just the fact that you can run up to Costco and stock up your hotel room, that's it. Every hotel room, or at least at the DVC villa, we had a mini fridge and we had a microwave. Fortunately, I am an overpacker and I brought tons of oatmeal and RX bars and all kinds of snacks for the kids. So we were pretty good. We'd have oatmeal in the morning in the room. But it would have been nice to see more of the island. I personally have been to Oahu a handful of times, so I've done all of the touristy things like Pearl Harbor and other places like that. But it would have been nice to show my husband a couple of those places. They did have a rental car for Saturday. So what we did, we picked up the rental car just at the resort, which is super, super convenient. We just walked downstairs and got our car and we had it for 12 hours. So from 10 to 10. And we went to a few different beaches. We went around the island, went to Honolulu. So it was great. And we drove past Pearl Harbor, so I got to point and show him where it was. So that was fine. But, you know, where Aulani is located, it's not the best. It's beautiful. Literally, I am complaining about paradise. Okay. So please take this with a grain of salt because I am so grateful. I am so fortunate to have gone. It was an amazing experience. It's a beautiful, amazing hotel. However, when you're used to going places where other locations are super walkable, like in Maui, it's just different. And that's okay. Like, it's totally okay that it was different. In fact, I appreciate that because we just stayed in the hotel. And of course we went and we walked around the Four Seasons, which has an amazing, amazing beach called Paradise Cove, where I will insert a video. And we literally stood in knee-deep water and turtles surrounded us everywhere.
Hey, turtle. So far we've seen like 6 turtles. It's a little deeper over here.
It was incredible. And if you know me, I am obsessed with turtles. Never touch the turtles, please. I would never do that. But we were just standing there. I was holding my daughter. She's only 9 months old. And the 5 of us were standing around and they were just circling around us. It was so peaceful. It's like watching a yoga class. It's watching a turtle swim. It's absolutely beautiful. So we went down there and we had a great time. And of course you can walk to the Marriott, you can walk to the Four Seasons, all of these other beautiful hotels. And they have other little coves, which are kind of nice for little kids because it has that seawall. So the waves aren't super crashing on you, especially around sundown, when it can get a little crazy. So a lot of times in the morning, I would run from Aulani If you go left out of the resort for 1.5 miles and you come back, it's a nice 3-mile loop in the morning and you can just stay on the trail. I will say everyone was wearing masks in Hawaii, even outdoors, even on the beach. So when I did run, I put a mask kind of down around my neck. And if I passed someone who had a mask on, I put it up. I did carry that with me because this goes into my next tip. Starbucks is right across the street with a couple of other little a couple other little restaurants and little gift shops and things like that. So what I would do is I would run my 3 miles, grab some Starbucks, come back up to the room. So before I've kind of gotten away from myself talking about running, of course, but before I even get there, what I want to tell you is we get out of the shuttle. So we're back to day one. I'm so sorry. We get out of the shuttle and you walk into the lobby, and the lobby is so incredible. It is everything you think a Hawaiian paradise would be. It's very open. It's very grand. To be honest, if I didn't know Aulani was owned by Disney, I wouldn't have known it was Disney. It just looked like a beautiful resort. And it kind of had that Polynesian vibe, which made me really want Tonga toast and some Kona coffee. But I'll have to wait for that until I go to Disney World. But it was really beautiful. And everyone that works there is so incredibly sweet, so kind, a smile, so welcoming. So when we got off the shuttle, they took our luggage. They were so incredibly sweet and helpful and patient. We checked in, and then we got to our room, and our room was absolutely beautiful. Here we go. Okay, go in. Emma, go in.
Okay, both taking video.
Sounds like there's a bird in here. Ooh, bathroom. Awesome. Peaceful. We had a garden view. We were in a DVC studio room. So it was, it was better than I could have imagined. I never in my life thought I'd go to Aulani because it's so expensive. And so for my friend to give us this opportunity to go with them, it was very, very sweet. And we are very, very grateful. So we got there because of the wonderful time change. We got there at like noon. So we still had a full day. We went right down to the lazy river. We got some shaved ice, which I will insert here so you can see. We had a wonderful, wonderful day. We got some food poolside for that day. And the next day on Friday was the first day that Minnie and Mickey were back at the character meal. Minnie and Mickey. There they come. Did you get Coco-Lot? Look, there they are, buddy. I will say again, it's different because of COVID, okay? So you walk in and you have to keep your mask on and you take a picture with Minnie and Mickey, but they are on a stage far away.
Oh, you feel like the ocean.
So a little different, right, than a normal character meal. Especially, I love character meals at Disney World or Disneyland. I always schedule 1, maybe 2, because I feel like a kid again when I go to them, and I just love it. So you check in, you get your picture with Minnie and Mickey, then you go back to the restaurant and they walk you through this hallway where Pluto and Goofy are making breakfast. Super, super cute. They're very interactive. You're not really allowed to have anyone take your picture, so you could take a selfie. You can have someone else take one, but they don't really even keep a line. So it's kind of just your family and then you sit down. It wasn't crowded at all. Making breakfast. Look, bud. Oh, look, they're making breakfast. How cute is that?
You guys want a photo opportunity?
All right, guys, let's try to do, it's in a beautiful location of the hotel. It's pretty much half out, half in. So you can still see the koi pond and you can hear the water. The food was absolutely amazing. My husband and I shared a pineapple mimosa and a pog mimosa. Definitely go for the pog mimosa because you're in Hawaii, obviously, but pineapple and champagne is my favorite. So we had to order one of each. The food was so good. Ryan got the cinnamon French toast. It's like cinnamon rolls just sliced in half and made into French toast. I got the farmer's omelet that had onions and tomatoes and goat cheese and mushrooms and asparagus and a side of potatoes. And then the kids each got the kids meal that had the eggs and the bacon. We loved it. The coffee was amazing. It wasn't like that normal hotel coffee that you get from some places. It was so good. And we had a wonderful time. We stayed there for like an hour. We went back and took more pictures with Goofy and Pluto. They were super sweet about us doing that. And our waitress was amazing. Also, I forgot to mention, you do get a bread basket and you each get a plate of fruit before you eat. So what was nice is I don't really like traditional like little mini croissant type things. And so I mentioned, oh, can I see the gluten allergy bread basket? And then they were like these little gluten-free mini muffins. So ask for that because they were way better. Everyone kind of liked those better anyway. So the rest of the day on Friday, we went to the beach. We went down to the pools. We pretty much just had a great lazy day. We went in the water slides, which are awesome. And then on Saturday was the day that we rented the car. And so we drove all around. We went to Honolulu. We tried other little restaurants. It was really, really fun. And just a little tip, when you go to fill up your gas and bring it back to Aulani, you have to fill up at Costco. You don't have to, but it was really the only gas station that was pretty convenient and it's not far away. And they give you a list of gas station options. However, the addresses weren't that accurate. We spent a lot of time driving around like 9:30 at night trying to find this gas station. So I would just recommend stopping off at that Costco that's not too far away. It's a few miles away from Aulani, getting your things and then heading back. So let's talk about the food options that are available right now during the pandemic. So there is the character meal that just opened, but it is also a full-time restaurant that you can eat anytime. There's also a poolside restaurant where you can get things to take out or you can eat there as well. And that was really yummy. My friend is obsessed with the club sandwich there. So definitely give that a try. There's also more of a quick service situation down by the pool. You can get Dole Whips and popcorn and poke bowls and chia seed pudding, which was my favorite. It was so good. I want to recreate it at home, and it was dairy free, which is the best because it was made with coconut milk. It was so good and lots of fresh fruit on top. So across the street, you can find Island Vintage Coffee, which was really yummy. There's Monkey Pod, which if you have never gone, it's really, really good. It would make a really good date night, and you should also check them out for happy hour. There's a Starbucks, like I mentioned. There's a wonderful pizza place that is really cheap. It was like $25 for this extra large pizza. We had so much that we could save for the next day. Great options. And then also there is the Island Market, which is like an ABC store anywhere else. And actually they had a lot of fresh food options there too. They had sandwiches and salads. You could even make your own salad there, which was an awesome choice. So from Sunday to Thursday, pretty much all we did was just hang out at the resort. And that's fine with me because I was there to see Aulani. I wasn't really there to see anywhere else, especially right now. I just felt like we should probably be careful and conscientious of how careful Hawaii has been. So of course, on our day when we had our rental car, we went and saw a couple of different beaches, which was so much fun. But we pretty much wanted to get that full Aulani experience. So on Sunday was Mother's Day, and we went across the street to Eggs and Things, which is another little restaurant you guys could try. However, the wait was like an hour and a half just for takeout. So be aware of that because that place gets really busy because we would go there a couple of the other days just to try it out and see what the time was for that. And it was just really, really long. And I mean, great for them. They have tons of business, but we just didn't want to wait that long in a line for food. So we went back and had another meal at the same location that we had the character meal. We got pretty much the same thing, except Ryan got the macadamia nut pancakes, and you have to get those. Okay, that was better than the French toast. And that coming from me is saying a lot because I love French toast. So, so good. The kids got the same thing, except my daughter got the red velvet mini waffles. Those were really good too. Due to COVID, there are not a lot of extra activities. The fitness classes aren't up and running. The character situation is more of they're standing on a stage and you can walk up and take a picture with them. I will insert a video here. That's fine. I mean, it is what it is. Again, you're complaining about being in like such a wonderful place, but I'm just trying to give you an overall view. So I guess I thought that Aulani was going to be 50% Disney, 50% Hawaiian looking. No. Aulani, Disney has been very conscious of where they are and trying to be really respectful of the Hawaiian culture. So I did read an article that they pretty much made it like 90%, 95% Hawaii and 5% Disney, which is the characters. And what I heard is during normal times, I wonder if that's what we're going to say now. Like what are before the Rona, something like that. Anyway, and I'm sure it's going back to that soon. That's my personal opinion. But normally they have characters walking around. So they have really cool characters that they don't have at the US parks because they're so close to Japan. So they have Duffy, they have Shelly May, they have Gelatoni, they have Olu. So cute. That's where you can find more of those souvenirs that have those Asian characters that people obsessed with in the Asian parks. That's really why I want to go to Tokyo Disney, because of all the merch. It's so cute. So they have everything there that you would want to find in Tokyo Disney, which is really cool. So there are 2 gift shops on property. There is the normal Disney gift shop that you would expect to see. Of course, they have Aulani things. They have the Shelly Mays, the Duffy characters, things like that. They also have sodas and freezer meals and some other little snacks if you want those options. They have the pins and the mugs and the shirts and the toys and everything that I was forced to buy for everybody when I was there, for my kids, I mean. But they also have a more fancy gift shop, which has art, has Tommy Bahama stuff. So the more of the pricey, some jewelry, things like that you would see in a more upscale gift shop, that's where you would find those kinds of things. So we had actually booked the cabanas, and we had also booked some private seats that were on the beach, and we actually ended up canceling both of them. One, because the cabanas had a TV, it had a fridge. That seemed cool in theory, but I have a 9-month-old. My friend has a 1.5-year-old son. And I don't know, we were just like, are we really even going to be in this thing all day to really enjoy it and get our money's worth? So we ended up canceling, which we probably, when we go back, will do. I'm just inviting myself. If I do go back, we might do that when the kids are a little bit older and can last all day in the sun. Same thing with the private chairs on the beach. It just was getting towards the end of the trip. We were really tired. And honestly, they're kind of next to the free chairs. And so I just thought, well, if we get down there early enough, we can get free chairs and spend more money elsewhere. That day was really fun because I finally got to do what I've always wanted to do and go paddleboarding. And so I took my daughter out on the paddleboard. I didn't fall once. My husband fell 3 times. So because he is way more, not athletic than me, because, okay, thank you. I'm just kidding. But he can get up on a water ski board. What are those called? A wakeboard? A wakeboard. That's what they're called. I can't even get up on that stupid thing, mostly because the water gets up my nose and drives me insane. But I was just very proud of myself for getting it on the first try. And it was really fun. We sang Pocahontas and, had our moment. But that was really fun. I do know that they do offer paddleboard yoga, not in normal times, but they don't right now. So I was really bummed because I've always wanted to try that, but that's okay. It was $45 for the hour, and the hour was perfect. We went out, we got to relax on it for a little bit. We paddled all around the little cove, and it was so much fun. So if I could give you any tips for going to Aulani during the pandemic or with small kids, it would just be to manage your expectations. There are tons of pools and hot tubs, and there's the lazy river and the water slide and the kids splash area. Just make sure that you are conscious of the fact that your kids are little and it is hot in the sun all day. So make sure to go back, take a nap, have some time to reapply your sunscreen, get some lunch, even just sit and watch TV for a little bit, just to kind of let everyone calm down, maybe fall asleep for a few minutes, and then go back out. They are offering the luau right now. So if that's something you're interested in, you can go and do that. It's all included with your price. So it's entertainment, it's food, and drinks. And my friend Caitlin and her family did that, and they seem to have a really great time. So that's always something you guys can do that's available right now during COVID. I would also recommend that you bring enough masks, that you are aware that the people working there do not have a choice, and they do not enforce the rules. So be mindful. So just be respectful. I mean, they just ask you to keep it on until you start eating, and out of respect for them and their state, of course, that's what we would do. I would also recommend, either going to Costco to get your own food, ordering food if you can, or bringing a lot of snacks for the room. We got by so well with RX bars, oatmeal that we could microwave. We would get a big pizza the kids would eat it the next day for lunch. We would get yogurt and protein shakes, things like that. So it worked out perfectly. And if you don't plan on getting a rental car, definitely call the resort and ask them for the number for the shuttle service. It was great. They do provide car seats. So if that is something that you're concerned about, we just happened to bring our own. We actually bought 3 car seat bags from Southwest. So if you don't want to get them off of Amazon, or if you forget, you can show up to your flight and pay $15 per car seat bag, and then you can just keep them forever. And little tip, I don't know if this is still allowed, but we would shove a bunch of diapers in the car seat bag so that way it doesn't count towards your weighted luggage. You know, you gotta take these where you can get them sometimes. So I hope that answered all of your Aulani questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, or let me know what you think. If you went to Aulani at this time, like I said, it was beautiful. They're doing the absolute best that they can. If it weren't for the mask, I wouldn't have noticed that anything was really different because I've never been, and they were so sweet and kind and welcoming. So I just never thought anything other than that. I mean, it just seemed like we all just had an extra little accessory on every day. And if you need a cute mask to wear or a mask chain, I make mask chains. I will link our shop down below, but also my friend makes a lot of really cute masks that you'll see in my pictures, and I will link her shop as well. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.